So I'm building my first i7 computer, and the bits are beginning to trickle through. The 2 terabyte hard drive with 64 megabytes of cache, Windows 7 64-bit. This is a graphics card. I'm probably not going to use that, as I've got a couple of Crossfire cards I might use. And there's the invoice for this. Next came the power supply, Seasonic 850 watts. And the cables, and more cables, and the bill. Cables came in a little bag, very tricky to get it to stand up. Then the processor and the fan. The processor is second hand. It's a 930. I'm going to use this DVD drive just because I had it. I don't use DVDs all that much anyway. And here's the motherboard. I got one of these for the 775 and it's pretty impressive. So even though I haven't got much of a processor yet, gives me room to expand. Stuff that came with the motherboard. More stuff that came with the motherboard. More stuff that came with the motherboard. And that's it. That's all the stuff that came with the motherboard. Yeah, I got it for $500 from some guy on eBay. New. A lot of work's gone into this box for the sales presentation. Then the case. The main reason I got this case, other than it looks quite nice, is that it's got good filters over all the holes. I'm so sick of cleaning excess dust out of computers. See the freight, $60.70 to Darwin. Yeah, case was $315 on eBay from Sydney. Side panel, back side panel. Oh, sorry, back panel. And you can see one of the huge fans in the front there. That's the panel. It's the other side panel with a huge fan in it. The box without either the side panels on. You can see all sorts of junk inside. Okay, that's the back, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see right through, but there's neatly packaged wires on some sort of control panel of it or the other. I love these little trays, the way they slide out. These dust covers clip on and off pretty easily. Because everything is black, it's hard to see, but to get the top off, there's 6 tabs. One there, and then on the other side. One there, one here. There it comes. The front panel also has 6 tabs. other stuff that came with the case. Wheels, I'm going to put those on. Installing the wheels, you need a screwdriver. I noticed that 2 of them have brakes on them. I wonder if they have to go in special positions. Installing the power supply. First I'm going to remove these covers. The case came with some extra black screws, so I've replaced those screws on the power supply. But an interesting thing for the motherboard supports is a little tool which I've never seen before for putting them in. Even with all the motherboard supports installed, there's still heaps of extras. Graphic cards, Crossfire. I've had these for a couple of years, they work quite well, so I'm going to give them a try. This is my DVD drive. I was going to use another one, but it wasn't SATA. This board can't handle IDE. Okay, I'm going to break out the tab to fit the DVD drive. That button on the side holds it in place. Installing the hard drive. Just line it up with these little pins or whatever they are. Looks like they pull out. And slide it around. clips in. So installing the motherboard. Look at this thing. It's got some sort of padded material behind it. It's unbelievable. I've never seen such a nice one before. The angle set for the easiest. Now for the motherboard. The holes are lined up. A couple of these things actually have tabs that will pre-install, one there and one there, so everything else should go like clockwork. I think I'll turn that fan around so the cables come out near the top. They might be easier to hide. Okay, installing the CPU. Got a couple of tabs here which have to line up with some holes here. Probably that one or that one, I think. Seems pretty cool. Now the CPU fan. This one's still got thermal stuff from Intel, and I'm turning it around so that the wire is close to the plug here. I hate this design. I've broken so many of these things, or I surely could have done something better. First time they're normally going pretty well, but you take them out, put them back in a couple of times, they get bent out of shape. Still waiting on parts. This is going to sound pretty simple, so silly. I had a box with holes in it, never realized what they were for. This cable management thing, it's a great thing. So, for example, pass the power for the motherboard through here, it goes around the back, comes up through here. It's a lot neater, Okay, the RAM just came, so we're going to try and put that in. This is just cheap RAM until I decide what I want to do. I was reading about it on the internet, but I couldn't find any good advice. First time I've seen those RAM slots with only a moving tab on one side. Good idea, really. I just did this, but it wasn't focused on the RAM, so I'm going to take them out and put them back in. I found this little treasure in the motherboard box. It's an RC Bluetooth card. It has a switch on the end, and this is the aerial. It goes here. I had to unscrew the motherboard to install it. There it goes. Oops. I had to unscrew the motherboard to install that RC Bluetooth card. Switch and aerial stick out the back. These two power sockets here have half covered up, but they're both 8-pin ones. My power supply only has one 8-pin and one 4-pin. I suppose the only way to find out is to try it out like this. It's damn annoying too, but not long enough to really be fed under and come back. So, not sure what I'm going to do about that. This little fan, wasn't real clear what to do with it, but so I assume it's going to go here. And plug in here, this little tricky little place there. Couple of other things. There were two longer screws in it, their own little plastic bag for screwing this in. The book also talks about plugging in power here and here to support your graphics card. But my cards have their own power in the side, so I'm going to have a go without using those. If it doesn't work well, I'll try something else. Oh. All the case fans came with this attachment plugged in to the power wire, and I disconnected this because I'm plugging the power wire directly into the motherboard so it can control the fans. The front fan also has another little power type thing which connects to a wire that comes from the control panel at the top of the case. I'm not sure what these these USB type wires are for yet. They go to the top of the case. This little attachment here is a great thing because you can clearly label what it is, like that's the speaker one. This is the speaker thing. Sorry, plugs into here where it's visible, rather than trying to read all the small print here. Then once this is set up, you just plug it straight, the whole thing straight into the front, those pins there. One thing that is quite annoying is I could only find one USB set of pins coming off the motherboard, this particular motherboard, and plug the front panel USB into it, but there is another back panel one that came with the motherboard where it seems to be no place to plug it into. This audio thing is for different types, and it says if you want to use a high def you have to change it in the BIOS to use that. I'm still annoyed about these two cables not being long enough to go under the motherboard and come back up here. I'm not even sure if I really need them because my graphics cards have their own power. There's very little mention of what this electronic panel is for in the manual that came with the case, but according to the internet, it's for plugging hot devices into from this side. So apparently the plugs on this will line up with your hard drive or whatever, so you can plug it in and out while the computer is going. On the principle of keeping it simple, I'm just going to start up the first time with just one Crossfire card, see what happens. Okay, so this is my first attempt at booting up without any discs. That's a good sign, the fan started. There's some flashing lights. One beep. Something came up on the screen. No drives found. Excellent. No keyboard detected. Excellent. Just as an aside, this old box that somebody gave me has a spare part container. Maybe some of these other big boxes should have them. It's so handy. Could just go into some of the unused bays. You can always take it out if you were going to use the bay. Number 3, go. There you go, Windows is loading.